Hello friends, I welcome you again to this channel Dr. Vipul V. Kapoor. Let's learn. Friends, in our previous videos we discussed Geoffrey Chaucer as an artist, as a painter, as a poet. And in this lecture today we are going to discuss Chaucer's character, the friar. And let's discuss this character in detail. Before we start discussing this character, let me tell you that Geoffrey Chaucer, a great painter of English literature, has presented about 30 different characters who represented different walks of life during the 14th century England. Most important thing to note about this character, the friar, is the irony or the satire of Chaucer. Chaucer has presented this character in an ironical manner, in a satirical manner, because the friar is described as a limitor, means he is supposed to beg on behalf of the poor. He is supposed, because the church has given him the responsibility to beg for the poor people and to give these beggings to the needy people. Yet, on the other hand, he doesn't do this. He is presented as a bachelor on a love hunt. He loves the company of the women. He is presented as a crooked businessman, and he does complete his duties as a friar. He knows many beautiful women in the town, many rich people in the town, and he rarely associates with the class of the people he should live among. He is actually supposed to live among the people who are needy and poor, but on the other hand, he doesn't do that, and he loves the company of the man who are rich, who are materialistically rich, and he loves the company of the women also. The friar's duties were to live among the poor, to beg on their behalf, and to give his all earnings to help their struggle for livelihood, to help the poor people. And that's why Chaucer writes, which I have presented here on the screen, which you can see. Full well beloved and familiar was he. Full well beloved and familiar was he with the worthy women of the town. He was more familiar with the worthy women of the town, which is not expected from him. Friar's duty was not to flirt with the women of the town, but to beg for the poor. The friar is not begging for money to appease his goal to feed the poor, but rather is wooing the women to appease his flesh. So his attention is not the poor people. His attention is not to help the poor people. His attention is to appease his own lust, his own desires, remaining in the company of the women. Friar is presented as a crooked businessman. He uses his position in the church to get money. Not only this, he spreads the word among his fellow people that he had the power to forgive sins more than a priest. And this idea is found in line number 218 and 219. Chaucer writes, I quote, "For he had power of confession as said himself more than a curate, more than a priest, and this gains him much profit from the wealthy people." The fact that he generates profit is it proves that he looked like a belly out of the press. He accumulates gifts and richness from the wealthy people, and his belly has come out. He is presented as a man with obesity, and this is why, because this is so because he is more fond of accumulating wealth, more fond of eating and all. His purchases far exceeds his expected income from begging. Whatever he begs, whatever he gets after begging, his purchases, his shopping is more than what he earns. That means he is a corrupt man. The friar should have been very poor, perhaps worse off than the people he helped. However, this character, the friar, he eats healthy and he lives a happy life. And that shows how corrupt this man is. The friar knew all the well to do countrymen when he should know the beggars on the region better. In fact, what is expected from him is that he should know who are the poor people in the town. Instead of that, he is more familiar with who are the rich people in the town. Chaucer states in line number 240 to 242, I quote, "He knew the taverns well in every town, and every hostler and tapestry better than a lazer and a bagester." That means he knew every taverns very well, more than anybody. Okay, he knew the barmaids, he knew the innkeepers more than anybody else in the town. And this man of God knew the innkeepers and barmaids better than the poor people on his designated region. This implies, it means that he spends much time at the bars, at the inns, rather than living with the poor people. So, at the end of this presentation, we can conclude that the friar is a typical man who represents the corrupt men of the church in those times. He has no interest in begging and helping the poor people. He enjoys the company of the rich people, of the women, of the wealthy women, and of the barmaids. And that's why we may say that the friar is a highly materialistic man, money minded person. So, friends, here we come to the end of this discussion on the character analysis of the friar. I'll come up with some new videos on Chaucer's characters. Till then, goodbye and have a nice day. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe this channel. Thank you very much.